ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike Dawes. Now, Mike, it's been, how long since the last time you were here?
You graciously invited me to your abode in late 2021, so we're now.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember because it was the first tour that I was doing after, you know, being stuck at home. So it was really like being let out of the house for the first time, and then coming on your channel was a treat. And I played an unfinished song, and your lovely audience really dug it. And then I ended up finishing the song and recording it, and yeah, lovely things happen when you visit Rick Beato.
So I went back and watched the video, and I realized how badly color corrected it was. And then Mike's like, well, I'm colorblind anyway. So
it's true. Like... I am colorblind, yes. I don't see black and white. I see colors, but I'm not very good at color grading my own stuff. Yeah.
That would be a problem then.
It is, yeah. I always have to outsource the color grading of sort of every music video.
That's really true then.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's completely true. So I try to blind others with these shoes to try and make myself feel better as
well.
So
when he saw my shoes here, he's like, I'm going to outdo you, and which he did. So he kind of embarrassed me there. And
this is so.
And then he asked me if I had any shiny shoes like that, which I do not yet.
Petition to get Rick Beato shiny shoes via the super thanks.
Okay, let's talk about your new record, which happens to be right. I was trying to do this right there. That's your new record,
right there,
the vinyl version of it.
Absolutely, man. Vinyl for the first time, which is very exciting.
Would you like to just start out by playing a song?
I'll just play something. I've got a capo on Dadgad right now, which is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tuning. It's Dadgad, but with an open top string. So
it's the depressing note.
It's the depressing note.
The haunting tone.
Yeah, but you can kind of get behind it and sound good. So this is actually set up for an older tune that I've been playing on this tour, which kind of... One of the things we didn't really talk about last time was like polymetrics and playing like multiple time fields in different hands and stuff, and this one kind of demonstrates that a bit. That reverb's nice.
Beautiful. What are we hearing there? What are these beautiful long tail reverbs, and what do you got going on here?
It's interesting because last time I was here I didn't have the pedal board. I made a new pedal board, but that reverb actually is not a reverb at all. It's a delay. So I've got a really long delay made on the Strymon timeline here. There's an even longer one here actually I made, which is super nice. It's like a really, really, really short delay with loads and loads of repeats, right? So it lasts really long, and that's going into another reverb, which is, I think it's a tone print on the Hall of Fame. You know the TC Hall of Fame?
Yeah, of course.
So those TC Hall of Fames, man, they're an underutilized asset because you can do so much with them. Like the tone print functionality, you can load it into the desktop and make your own reverb. I made a patch with them in Denmark many years ago, and it's awesome. So to this day, still using the Hall of Fame. Highly recommended, for sure. Yeah, timeline into Hall of Fame, big stereo reverb.
Okay, what is this big thing over there?
So this is the brain of the whole rig. So I guess it's worth mentioning that, you know, acoustic guitar players, we don't normally think of acoustic guitar players as having like huge pedal boards and things like that. And there is more stuff going on here than you would see. There's actually some pedals stuck underneath as well.
Wow.
But yeah, like some octaves and the Hall of Fame, like I said, things like that.
Yep.
But everything starts with, you know, the pickups, and they have to go somewhere, right? So last time I was on your channel, we didn't have the rig because it was locked.
We had to plug into a couple different amps, and we used the bass amp for the low.
Yeah, it was actually awesome. We made like a proper tone henge, you know, out of bass amps, which was really wicked, and it sounded great. But it's nice to have the full rig here. So I spoke about the pickups. We were running these pickups into different bass amps, but now we're going into this. So the pickups are, so we got a piezo under here, which is a bridge plate pickup. I treat that as my kind of acoustic guitar sound, right? Then we've got a magnetic sound hole pickup by Damasio. That's the Black Angel magnetic pickup, that's the electric guitar. Right, so I'm trying to compartmentalize these in my brain into different
Gives you more what, mid-range?
A lot of mid-range, but also it opens up the door to effects.
Got it.
Many of which are on here. Because if you think about it, you don't want to run a lot of these effects that I have through a piezo or through a microphone even, you know. Right. It would sound terrible, right? So we have the magnetic as an electric guitar. We have a kick drum pickup here, which acts as the kick drum. And then we have a microphone inside, which acts as something to pick up a lot of this external stuff. That has to be mixed. So it goes into a mixer first. So to answer your question, the big giant thing down here is a mixer by Bose.
Okay.
Right. Now, Bose is a great company, but not typically known for guitar pedals, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't a guitar pedal. It's a mixer that I've mounted on here. Now, it's an 8-channel mixer, that's why it's so big. 4 pickups, 8 channels, why? Well, once the pickups go on, I'm actually running that into specific effects to give them their own channels, right? So, for example, see here, the pickups are mixed the way I want them, blended piezo and magnetic and the kick drum as well. But say I wanted some distortion, right? Big lush. Now that little distortion, the Tone X1, which I actually got pretty recently. It's like an AI, your favorite word, Rick.
I love AI.
It's an AI pedal. A tiny pedal, you make a sound, AI helps, I guess. Make a sound of an amp, it's an amp sim, and it's controlled by this volume pedal here to kind of fade it in. But it has its own channel. And the reason it has its own channel is because I'm sending it one signal from this pickup only. Remember, this was my electric guitar sound. Yep. It's going back into its own channel, so I can actually EQ, compress, noise gate, for example. You know, if I'm loading a...
Are you noise gating a lot right now?
I'm noise gating just this channel, actually. Just the distortion. I think the kick drum channel has a limiter. And again, that's why this Bose digital mixer is so useful.
And that has a limiter for the PA systems you play through, right? So it doesn't...
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't, you know, blow
so it doesn't blow anything up. This is America. I could get sued.
Yeah.
Right? So that has its own channel with extra features provided by this digital mixer. So, you know, I don't know if you have a camera on this, but there's compression, there's gates, there's all kinds of EQ. There's 3-band parametric EQ on these things, which is really helpful for like feedback, notch filter, etc. Yep. The whammy.
Wait a minute, how much are you actually altering the sound when you go into a room? Not very much, right?
I've got it pretty dialed in this end so that it should be fine flat in a lot of rooms, and then they can make small changes in the house that they need to. So when I tour with Tommy Emmanuel, Steve Law, who's Tommy's long-term sound guy, he runs this pretty much flat. Okay. You know, it's a very quick sound check. And that's something else that's really important. And for people who want to get into like touring and maybe being a solo artist and getting on the road, having a quick sound check is really, really important. Just trying not to piss people off is really important on the road, especially when you're living with these people, you're working, you don't want to be there saying, oh, I want a bit more of this, a bit more of that. Like, plug it in. Does it sound good? Yes. Trust the professional front of house engineer. Respect their 30, 40-year careers at their craft, you know. Obviously, sometimes things go wrong. You have to spend more time, but I'm really trying to get better at delegating responsibility for the front of house sound to the front of house engineer. Very important. Respect the crew all the time, right?
Well, one of the things about you that I like so much, Mike, is that you're such a great player. You can sit here, you can play your songs, and you play them fantastically. And that's from you doing so much touring. I mean, you've been on the road for over 10 years consistently, right?
Yeah. So to that point, that's really, really sweet of you to say. And I think, first of all, a lot of the fly by the seat of your pants, just do it, just play, has come from working with Tommy Emmanuel, who is, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest guitar player that I think maybe has ever been. Not just guitar player, the whole package, the humanity, the person that he is. Through working with him, you know, when we recorded a record together a few years ago, we were on tour. Oh, 2 shows have been cancelled. Let's go to LA and record a record. What are we going to record? Oh, this is crazy. I don't know. We'll figure it out in the car. Let's go. You know. I'm there with Tommy. We're recording. He presses record. We just do one take, and that's the record. Whereas I was used to, you know, and I'll admit this to you and to the world. When I started and I'm making records, you know, a lot of these Pro Tools sessions are looking like barcodes. You know what I mean? Because there's that indecision, that millennial perfectionism, right? But then when you go, you make whatever bed you make, you got to deliver when it's just you on stage.
Right.
You got to go out and you got to play these tunes. You have to play to people, and they're going to notice if you don't deliver, you know. But with that as well comes a lot of grace. I think this millennial and Gen Z perfectionism that we have online almost isn't really justified, because live, to say you can get away with so much is probably a bad way of framing it. I think the audience are very forgiving and appreciative of anyone standing up and doing a real thing, especially nowadays. You know? And as a producer, you probably know that those imperfections are the perfections. You know, those imperfections
the
make
best parts.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, and yeah, but I appreciate the compliment, Rick. I mean, it's a lot of time gets spent on the little details. You know, the little.
I love those harmonics like that. And we were just talking about these, right? What do we call those there? Some are...
Well, this right now, this would be right-handed natural harmonics, I suppose. So picking the harmonics with this hand.
Yeah, 12 frets up.
I have a song called Cloudcatcher on my new record, which is ends with what I like to call cloudburst harmonics. There we are. We have this kind of this hammer-on and pull-off pattern in between harmonics that then turns into triplets.
Beautiful.
You know, you get this really, really nice kind of cascading kind of effect with a low Atlanta action. I really like playing those kind of harmonics as a way to alter and change a melody. What I do is an instrumental kind of guitar thing. And I've got really into just like trying to think like a producer when I write, you know. Trying to make things like, you know, as if a pop person was arranging it. Melody, right? B section. Where the melody is key. But then you can have variations, you know.
Ooh. Beautiful.
You know, so trying to figure out where the harmonics are.
That's absolutely beautiful. There are so many subtleties to what you're doing. The dynamics, the vibratos on certain notes. I mean, there's really sophisticated phrasing happening there,
bless you, man.
and it's so musical.
Thank you very much. Well, I mean, the tuning helps. I mean, this is just such a phenomenal sounding tuning. CG DGAD.
I bet I could make that sound really bad.
No, man. Do you want to go?
No. It's not the tuning. To me, it's the taste. Like what makes a great melody? What makes beautiful harmonic structures that work together? You know, where do you put in the harmonics? Where do you play with vibrato? All these things. Where do you tap on the body?
The details matter, you know? It's like you can fly around the neck like crazy if you want, and that's fine, and I definitely do that as well. But, you know, if my variation of... that just adds all the syncopation that's needed. Maybe a little humming.
See, a little vibrato right there.
Little details, you know, little details are important. Trying to think like a producer, trying to think like, what would ABBA do?
How much of a difference does it make sitting down? Normally you play standing up. Is this a little tricky for you or not?
It's a little different. So usually my shows, I stand up, but that's just because maybe I've got a little bit of a tummy now, Rick, and some of these hits are kind of hitting a little bit of friction or something like that. But some songs, I always like sitting down in shows for some songs that need like a big reverb. Oh my god, this sounds so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Spooky.
Wow.
Thanks, dude. Bit of sleep token. Little work in progress. I like playing works in progress on your channel because they inevitably end up being things afterwards.
You have a new record out. How do you promote this record? This is a question that people ask me all the time.
Yeah.
What do you do? You're a solo instrumental artist. How do you promote a new record in 2024?
There's a mix of art and content. Not to say that content isn't art, but I think you have to play the quantity game with your quality content. But everything is about the music and everything is about the quality. Right. I see so many people trying to get blood out of a stone. You know what I mean? Which is making 30 shorts about something that isn't piquing people's interest in the first place.
Right.
I have a lot of guitar player friends who, bless them. I mean this with all due respect. Like, if their energy was spent making that tune just 10%
a little bit
better or just special somehow, and you diverted that energy away from making the 30 short form videos, you will have better results, and it brings people to the shows. But then the other part of it is doing shows. I'm a huge advocate for doing shows. Like, I do 250 shows a year, maybe, just playing and touching people in the room. And making that observable universe happy. Not only does it decrease your anxieties about being a musician anyway, because you're not reading comments, you're not trying to get views. If you are pleasing these people and these people are giving you an emotional response, and then they come and talk to you at the merch table and they've got a tear in their eye and there was someone who came to the show the other day who they made me this. a bracelet with Galactic Acid, the name of my album, on, you know, and someone else on that same show, their father was a big fan of mine and he passed away. So the mum and daughter came to the show and it was a huge experience and we all hugged and they told me I was playing songs that their dad used to play in the kitchen, things like that. That stuff with real human connection at live shows, you know, not to callously turn that to promoting a record, but that really just means everything. And not that I don't want the views and the clicks, but that's the stuff that really matters. When you're playing music as a soloist, from here to here, to here to here, down there, through the speakers, to there, to you here, to you hopefully here, is something very, very special and something that I'll always try and continue to do.
Okay, so how do people then support this new record? Where do they go to buy it?
Everything I do is independent. I don't do it through a record label. I don't do it through Amazon or the Jeff Bezos.
So you go to your website.
It's my website, MikeDawes.com, and what happens is if you order a vinyl, which there's maybe 100 left at this point, the order goes to my dad in the village of Cheddar, which is where the cheddar cheese is from. And my dad goes to the village post office at the end of the lane, and Steve and Sue, who are Rick Beato fans, so I hope they're watching.
What's up, Steve and Sue?
Steve and Sue, who run the village post office, they actually shut half the post office down to do my pre-orders.
Wow.
Because we came in with these crates of vinyls and stuff. My dad will drop them off. Sometimes he leaves little personalized notes. And they post it off all around the world. And people have been, unfortunately, a little annoyed that they've taken a little longer than the next day prime delivery that they're used to.
Sure.
But it's a genuine thing. It's a tangible thing. It's in the family. There's no other meddling hands in there. It's just a weird English guy making music and his dad sending you the records. So that's how it works. That's Dawes HQ. Shout out to my dad and my mum as well.
Well, Mike, it's always a pleasure to have you come in.
Man, such a pleasure being here.
Been amazing. I love your guitar playing, and go support Mike. Check him out. Sign up. Go follow him on Instagram. Follow him on YouTube. Go to MikeDawes.com and check out the record.
And buy tickets to the Oasis reunion.
Mike,
be awesome.
You're the man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rick. Anyway, here's Wonderwall.